Well, if you are a fan of Halloween spooky events in Universal Orlando, look no further because Halloween Horror Nights is going to be the event for you this holiday season. We are about to enter into spooky season, which means that Halloween Horror Nights is going to be kicking off at Universal Orlando. If you guys are new here, welcome to the Megan Moose channel. Every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we have a live stream talking about topics to help you make the most on your theme park vacations. And I am super pumped because we haven't done a Universal Orlando themed live stream in a while. And we have gotten some requests to do a live stream all about Halloween Horror Nights, which I am so excited to be chatting about tonight, even though Halloween or horror type and scary events are not my favorite things to do. I do have a huge appreciation for Halloween Horror Nights. I love Universal Orlando, of course, and I think they do an amazing job at this event in bringing everything to life. So I'm super excited to talk about it tonight, share some details with you guys. We're going to be talking about the houses they have, the scare zones, and I'm also going to be sharing some tips along the way with you to help you maximize your time at this event. So super excited to chat about that tonight. And as always, we are going to say hi to everyone that we have in the chat. So we had some people from earlier. We had Sarita, thank you for being here. And we had Grogu Attic. No problem, you can't be here on the live, but thank you for watching on the live stream. And thanks everybody else that is on the live stream, or thank you for watching on the replay. Thank you everybody else that is here on the replay as well. And we've got lovely Kitty Cathy. Kitty Cathy has been waiting for this Halloween Horror Nights live stream, so I'm so excited we can talk about it tonight, Kitty Cathy. And we've got Dan and Nicole. Hello, welcome. I hope you guys are doing well. And I know you guys are headed to Horror Nights this fall as well. Emily, hi, how are you doing? I need some pumpkin earrings for this is what I need. And hey, Doofs, how are you doing? They are at Epcot now. They went to Mickey's Not So Scary last night, which is also more my speed as far as Halloween events goes. But nonetheless, we love Halloween Horror Nights. So thanks for being here, Doofs. I hope you have a great rest of your trip. All right, so like I said, we're going to be chatting tonight. I have a couple of things that I want to share with you as far as details about the event this year and some tips to go along the way. Hey, Vanta, thanks for being here. So I went to Halloween Horror Nights. I've only been once, but I am here and alive to tell the tale. So we went 2 years ago. So I went to the 30th Halloween Horror Nights that they had, and had a great time, even though scary things are not some of my favorite things. I did want to show you too. So I am wearing right now for the live stream, I have one piece of Halloween Horror Nights merchandise. I am wearing a platform 9 3/4 shirt, and I did want to wear the Halloween Horror Nights shirt that I have. However, I didn't know if you guys, this is a bit of a jump scare, just to warn you. I didn't know if you guys would want like terrifying Beetlejuice staring at you the whole time. So I wanted to give a little feature of the merch that I do have, but I didn't know if it was something that you'd want to see the whole stream. So this was from the Halloween Horror Nights that we went to. I loved the Beetlejuice house. It wasn't super scary. It was fun. It was perfect for me. But I just wanted to feature my shirt here that I have. So, but as we get into it, let me know if you guys are headed to Halloween Horror Nights this year. Very excited to see the event start to kick off. And with that, I will say the first thing you should know before planning on going to Halloween Horror Nights is, of course, figuring out when the dates actually are, when it actually happens. It is going to kick off on September 1st to November 4th, which I think is very interesting that they are going a little bit over Halloween. I don't remember if they did that last year or not. I know Mickey's Not So Scary goes one day past Halloween as well. So I think that's interesting. They have a lot of dates. I think when I looked, they have 48 different dates. So I think that is very interesting. There's definitely a lot of time that you can go and check out this Halloween event. So those are the dates for Halloween Horror Nights. I don't think any dates have sold out yet. One thing you'll want to note too is depending on what date you do go, the prices do fluctuate a little bit. It looks like prices are, and we can go to ticket prices, our little thing here. As far as tickets go, the price does fluctuate a little bit. The base price, I think, is $79.99, And annual pass holders do get a bit of a discount too. So I think it's neat too. One of the pass holder tiers do include a Halloween Horror Nights ticket. But I did want to highlight some of the different ticket options for you because they have a lot for Halloween Horror Nights, which I think is very nice and interesting as far as like planning goes. So of course they have the single night base ticket, which like I said, it starts at $79.99 and it goes up to, let me see what the highest price was. I wonder how much like Halloween is. But okay, thank you. I'm glad you guys like the Beetlejuice shirt. So yeah, I'm glad you guys like that one. Let's see. The 31st, oh, interesting, is $84. I would have thought that it would have been more. But yeah, so there are varying prices whenever you go to Halloween Horror Nights, just a thing to note. But they also have different like packages you can do. They have different behind the scenes tours. They have the RIP tour, which I think is really neat. They also have a tour that I would actually like to do. It's a tour of the different, you can get a tour of some of the haunted houses with all of the lights on. I would personally like to do that just to see what goes into the houses and kind of get a behind the scenes tour. So that way, when I go into the houses in the future, I don't have to be super scared, but I think that would be so cool. So it's called Halloween Horror Nights Behind the Screams, Unmasking the Horror Tour, which I think is super cool. So you can pick from 3 to 6 houses to tour, which is pretty neat. They also have a Scream Early ticket, and they have that RIP tour, which I talked about. And they also have an express pass, which whenever you go, we'll talk about the haunted houses here in a little bit, but they do have an express pass, which is like the fast pass line at Universal Orlando. So if you want to bypass all of the standby lines for the houses, that's something you can add on as well. It looks like it starts at $119.99 to add that onto your ticket. So of course you can go on the Universal Orlando website and you can see all of the different ticket options. I think the event starts at 7 p.m. every night and goes until, I need to look exactly when it goes till, but it goes pretty late, which is nice. So it is a nice, decently long party. And I like that the tickets are pretty affordable as far as an event goes at the theme park. So those are a little bit about ticket options. I know Kitty Kathy is going, super excited for you. Let's see. And Kitty Kathy, you're saying you have RIP tickets because you waited in regular lines last year and didn't get to see all the houses. Yes, I know when we went 2 years ago, I think I only did 3 total houses. I mean, we weren't trying to get we weren't really maximizing our time like we should have, and I didn't stay the whole party time. But I know the wait times can be so long, and that's going to get into some of the planning tips that I have here for you, but it is nice if you have those tickets to kind of be able to maximize your time there. Hey, an Obsessed Rangers fan, and we have Janelle, welcome. We were talking Halloween Horror Nights. Janelle just went to Mickey's Not So Scary last night too, so it'll be an interesting change for her. Let's see. Dan and Nicole, probably not going to make the RIP, may not make the budget, but we're thinking we only want to do 3 to 4 houses, so it may not be worth it anyway. Yeah, that's actually, let's just get into houses now that we're talking about it. So that's one thing that I wanted to say as far as planning goes and tips for Halloween Horror Nights. So for this year, they have 10 houses. And I did want to preface it too. I'm not by any means a Halloween Horror Nights fan, but I am updating you guys as much as I'm updating myself because I think we're going to be going this year in September. So I'm going to try my best to share all the details that I can with you. But I think they have 10 houses this year. And I can't remember how many they had last year or whatnot. But the one thing that I will share with you, I know, like I said, the wait times can be quite long to get into the houses. I think for Beetlejuice last year, or for 2 years ago that we went, we waited like a half hour to get into the house. But for some of the other ones, we waited about an hour, so it can be quite long. So that's why I recommend to you look ahead of time and see what houses you want to do and what you like absolutely want to do at Halloween Horror Nights, because this will give you a good idea of kind of planning out your day. So if you know that there is a super popular house that you want to do, the wait time's usually long for it, try to hit that earlier in the night before it starts getting really busy and the lines start getting really long. That way you absolutely can do it and you don't get to the end of the event and figure out that you didn't even get to do the house that you want to do. So come up with like 3 to 4 houses that I think is a good, I think that's a good amount of houses to be able to practically, get done. So come up with those ones that you absolutely want to do and then try to get those, and any other ones that you get can be kind of a bonus. So I just want to see, yes, I know we're just going to miss Dan and Nicole down there whenever we are in Florida. So, hey, Disney Dumbleover, thanks for being here. All right, so I just want to briefly read through some of the houses they're having this year. So the one that they've just announced 3, apparently. So the one they have is The Exorcist Believer, which I think later on this fall is a movie that is going to be coming out. So I think that's kind of fun and fitting if you're interested in that. They also have Chucky Ultimate Kill Count, which I know Chucky is always a huge fan favorite at any Halloween Horror Night event. They always usually have like a little photo opportunity type thing with him, or not with him, but like of him, a little box that you can get a picture with, which is always fun. The one that I think is really neat, the year that we went, they had this Halloween Horror Nights Icons house, which we're going to talk a little bit later about, but they had this Icons house, which was so fun. They had all of the icons from previous Halloween Horror Nights in this house. And they also have, for this year, they have Universal Monsters Unmasked, which it says, descend into the Paris catacombs where you and your squad will face a new horde of monsters. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the Phantom of the Opera, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and the Invisible Man, which I think I like whenever they group like a lot of different characters into the houses. I think is so fun. So that's one that if we go, I will be trying to get myself through. Another one that they have, I know is a fan favorite, is the Stranger Things. So they have a Stranger Things 4 house tonight, or this Halloween Horror Nights. And they also have The Last of Us house, which I know is highly anticipated. I personally I have not seen or like have experience with either of those things, but I know everybody is super excited about them. So I need to educate myself on it before we go. But they also have, so I think that was like 6 of them. Let me scroll down. They also have a Dr. Oddfellow's Twisted Origins house. And I think, I'm not for certain if Dr. Oddfellow is the icon this year. We're going to get into like Halloween Horror Nights lore and backstories and everything a little bit later on here in the stream. But they also have a Dueling Dragons Choose Thy Fate house, which I think will be interesting. Another one that I'm very interested in is Yeti Campground Kills. So they have a house. It says, you and your friends are about to venture into a 1950s campground overrun by a huge, menacing Yeti who rips apart anyone who gets in their way. You must flee into the Ranger Tower to escape. I like that because I like outdoors and woodsy things. Now, whenever I come face to face with this Yeti, am I going to really like it? I don't know, but that one is intriguing to me. They also have The Darkest Deal and Blood Moon Dark Offerings. So these are all of the houses that you can expect to see. They have some really popular ones and then ones that are kind of Halloween Horror Nights themed. So I think it'll be interesting. So the ones that I am going to try to do are the Universal Monsters Unmasked, the Yeti Campground Kills, and I guess whatever, maybe Stranger Things. Even though I've never seen Stranger Things, I know a ton of people love that. So I might try to get myself through that one. But let's see what you guys have to say. Kitty Cathy, made sure to put all the houses in your favorites. Oh, in the app, yes. And then you could check the times, but still only got 4 houses. Long wait times and all the walking kind of spoiled it. So that gets into another tip that I have. I'm glad you brought that up, Kitty Cathy, because you can download the Universal Orlando app ahead of time. And I like that you said you can favorite different attractions that are at Universal Orlando to reference them very easily. So during the event, they actually have wait times for all of the houses, which is nice. Like Kitty Kathy was saying, you can go ahead and look and kind of plan what houses you want to do. So I really like that idea, Kitty Kathy. And yeah, the wait times can be quite long. So that's why, like I said, if you come up with the ones that you really want to do, and especially the ones that are super popular, try to hit those ones earlier so that way you can maximize your time. But I like that tip there, Kitty Kathy. If anybody has any other Halloween Horror Nights tips or knows anything that especially I do not know, please feel free to put it in the chat. I appreciate it. Yes. So you guys did the icons one too. Yeah, I love that one. I just thought it was so fun. They did a great job, and I love how they like group all the Halloween Horror Nights stuff together. I think it's so cool. Looking forward to several of the houses. 8 out of 10 houses, really, but not fond of Chucky. Not sure about the Blood Moon one. Yeah. I have not seen, like I said, I don't really watch scary movies, or like I'm not into scary things, but I do really love how Universal puts the whole event together. And they do a really good job with it. Like I said, Mickey's Not So Scary is more my speed, but yeah, I don't usually watch like horror or like scary movies, which I'm sure it does not come as a surprise to you guys. But so I don't really know a ton about Chucky and all of the other kind of popular houses, but it'll still be interesting to see how they do it. Not sure about the Blood Moon one too, for sure. Dueling Dragons is not still around. The Hagrid's Magical Creature Motorbike Adventure ride took over Dueling Dragons. So I know a lot of people really miss that ride for sure. And yeah, so Hagrid's now. And let's see. You do have the Universal Orlando app, might help in the future. Next time won't be so spoiled and get to skip the line every line. Yeah, that's what I always recommend going into park visits. I always like to look and see if the park actually has an app, because usually they have wait times on it. Sometimes the wait times are more accurate than others, but it's always nice kind of for planning purposes, and especially for like having the park map on the app. If you've never been there before, it's nice to kind of navigate around for sure. So always recommend downloading those. And let's see. Oh, I didn't know this, Kitty Kathy. I have not been keeping up with the Epic Universe progress. So Epic is making a type of dueling dragons in their part in 2025. That's crazy. All right. Well, we're going to have to wait and see that one. I've seen some pictures of like progress of rides, which it looks like it's going to be an amazing park. I am so excited for it. All right. So we talked a little bit about the app, the houses. Another thing that you can expect to find at Halloween Horror Nights are the scare zones that are placed multiple places throughout Universal Studios. I didn't say that earlier, but Halloween Horror Nights takes place at Universal Orlando and Universal Studios. There's 2 parks at Universal Orlando. There's Islands of Adventure, and then there's Universal Studios, which is where this event takes place. So I'm going to scroll down and see if I can find, let's see. So the thing about the scare zones is there's, no matter like where you go around the park, you have to kind of walk through a scare zone in order to get around the park. So both avenues that Universal Orlando or Studios is kind of like a big loop. In order to like walk anywhere, you have to walk through at least one scare zone. So you have to, even if you're trying to like escape it, you know, there's always a scare zone around. I do have a couple of tips as far as going through scare zones if you're kind of like me and you're wanting to just be there to experience it but not get super scared. Sometimes if you hang out on the sidewalks, their scare actors sometimes aren't on there, so you can kind of scurry on past. Also walk through in groups, so that way you have a buddy with you. But here are the where were they? Here are the, I think there's 5 scare zones, and I don't know why I can't find them now. Here they are. All right, so here we go. I apologize, guys. All right, 5 scare zones. We have them here. So the first one we have is Dr. Oddfellow's Collection of Horror. Then we have Dark Zodiac, and all of these are themed around Dr. Oddfellow, which I had to do some research ahead of time to figure out who he was, and he is a circus entrepreneur, and he's kind of tied in with Jack the Clown. We're going to get in, like I keep saying, to the Halloween Horror Nights lore here in a little bit, but we've got the Collection of Horror, the Dark Zodiac, we have the Jungle of Doom, Expedition Horror, and we have the Vamp 69 Summer of Blood, which I think will be kind of funny. I'm interested to see this one. It says, at a 60s music fest in a small New York town, you'll jam to popular bands with fellow concert goers until Dr. Oddfellow unleashes vicious vampires on the audience. They're out for your blood. I think that one's going to be kind of interesting. I'm not sure what it's going to look like, but I'm curious to see that. Then there's also Shipyard 32, Horrors Unhinged. So all of these scare zones are kind of themed around this Dr. Oddfellow guy, which will be kind of cool to see. But all of the scare zones are different. They, of course, have scare actors through them. They're very, very decorated, which is really cool. They do a good job at all of the theming, and all of the characters or scare actors are, of course, like super decked out in their costumes. What was I going to say? Some of the scare zones I do like in that some of the characters they're kind of lurking around so they can come up and kind of scare you a little bit. But some of them, like there was one near Fast and Furious when we went, where all of the scare actors were on these stages and like on these platforms, and they only stayed there. So I felt kind of good walking through there because I wasn't afraid of, getting anybody jumping out at me, and it was kind of cool. You could see the scare actors do their little act and everything, but you didn't have to worry about anybody coming up on you. So there's kind of some scare zones where you can walk through and not have to worry too much about the scare actors, but of course it does add to all of the fun in the Halloween Horror Nights. So those are some of the scare zones you can do. Very interested to see what they look like, and I'm sure that Universal Orlando is starting to decorate and get ready for all of that. And yeah, Kitty Cathy, I'm glad that you brought up food. The food can be good or weird, but always an experience. Twisted taters and pizza fries are good go-to for HHN food. So I tried the twisted taters during during Mardi Gras. So I was able to try this, but pizza fries sound very interesting. We'll get, now that Kitty Cathy brought it up, I did want to share another tip that I had as far as eating some HHN food. They do have some food that's specific to the event. I saw this year they have some weird like burger. I can't remember what the name of it was. They have started to release some of the pictures and details on food this year, and some people were able to go and try some of the food. So it does look very interesting if you're wanting to try it. Of course, there's some places that you can eat around Halloween Horror Nights. Another thing that I'll say, if you have the Universal Orlando app, you can mobile order. So if you want to really maximize your time there and not waste time waiting in line for food, you of course can do some mobile ordering. And it's a good way to just maximize your time there at Halloween Horror Nights and just in Universal in general. So I think it'll be interesting to see what the food tastes like. I know they have different drinks. They have a food or a dining package that you can do as well for Halloween Horror Nights that you could look into whenever you're getting tickets. But, oh yes, is it the Blooder Burger? Yes, quite the mashup. Weird flavors. I think it would be interesting to try that. There were some other like cupcakes and like desserts that looked kind of good. So of course, if you're wanting to do that, kind of check that out. I personally, when it comes to like after hours events or Halloween events or Christmas events or whatever in the parks, usually I try to eat beforehand so I can maximize time on activities. If there's something that I really want to try, make sure to go and check that out. But I usually try to eat before the event starts so that way I can really maximize my time at Halloween Horror Nights. But the event does go quite long, and it is kind of later on in the evening, so of course you might want a bite to eat, so you can go and check out some of the food for sure. Let's see. And Let's see, an obsessed Rangers fan, if it was up to you, would already start decorating for fall pumpkins and some small Halloween decorations that would be up to my parents. We don't have any. I don't know when we'll put up our Halloween decorations. I'm trying to remember when we did last year, but I know a ton of people are like already ready to. I'm still trying to hold out for just a little bit longer on all of my summer feelings, but I know we're going to probably get decorating soon here too. All right. Oh, another thing. So we talked haunted houses, scare zones. They have the HHN specific food, but they also have a lot of merchandise for Halloween Horror Nights. As you guys saw, my lovely my lovely Beetlejuice shirt that is slightly terrifying. They do have a lot of merch at Halloween Horror Nights that you can check out. The thing that I like about their merch is they have it available usually all the time. You can usually find it in a lot of the Universal Orlando stores. I don't know that they have like any event exclusive merchandise. Usually it's all found in the stores, so anybody can buy it. I know it was available super early last year whenever I went to the parks. But they also have some fun like popcorn buckets and different shirts and everything. So I really like the shirts that have all of the different houses on them, all of the different like logos for the houses. I think is a really cool souvenir to get. They have mugs, hats. I think they had earrings last year, which were super adorable. Maybe lounge flies. They have some Halloween lounge flies that come out. So if you want to get some merch from Halloween Horror Nights, maybe during your day at Universal, you could of course go and get a shirt or something that you maybe want to wear during the event, or you could buy merch during the event. So make sure you know about that ahead of time. I'm sure you could look up pictures and videos of all of the merch ahead of time too. I'm sure Universal will probably post about it as well on their socials. So it's kind of good going into the event knowing about what kind of merchandise is there if you want to get it. Kitty Kathy, let's see. Heard that if you're in a scare zone and you have a beverage, scare actors will take it easy on you so you don't spill your beverage. Okay, if that is the case, Kitty Kathy, I will be having a beverage the whole party. Like I will just be carrying around a drink. That is maybe what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to tell my family that. The thing is, I'm going to be going with my two sisters, maybe my mom. She's on the fence. I'm not sure if she's going to end up coming or not. But my two sisters are like all for this. They're like, let's go. All this scary stuff. I'm so excited. And I'm there like, oh my gosh. So thank you for the tip, Kitty Kathy, because I will be using that. Let's see, Kitty Kathy, can't wait to buy merch. You've budgeted for money for HHN merch. I love that. They had such fun stuff last year. I loved looking at it. Like I said, the shirts that always have all of the houses on it are some of my favorites, but they had like a cardigan last year, hoodies. They have so many good things. So yeah, you can definitely get some merch to remember your trip by, which I think is so fun. Let's see. All right. I think the last thing that I had is, yes, I wanted to share. So like I said, I'm not a huge, I'm not super knowledgeable on all of the backstories with Halloween Horror Night stuff, but I know people that probably go a lot or are very familiar with Halloween Horror Nights know a lot of the backstories and all of the lore behind Halloween Horror Nights. And as I was looking at some of the houses and the scare zones, a lot of the stories start to tie together from each of the years, which, like I was saying, with the Icon's house and the Dr. Oddfellow guy, a lot of the stories kind of intertwine, which I think is very cool. So I recommend to you, before going to the event, this is something I wish I did 2 years ago whenever I went to Halloween Horror Nights. I wish I kind of knew going into it, like who the characters were, what their purpose was, or what kind of role they play, because I think it paints a better picture, and it kind of gives you a different perspective going into the event whenever you're walking through these scare zones, or whenever you're going in the tribute store or in the houses and you're kind of like, okay, who is this guy, or what is even happening? I think it's kind of cool going into it knowing who the characters are in all of the stories behind Halloween Horror Nights. So like I said, looking at the scare zones, I was like, who is this Dr. Oddfellow guy? I just went online and I typed in, who is Dr. Oddfellow HHN? And it came up with this article talking about him and how he's tied to Jack. and I'm sure there's a whole bunch of other things that go into it, which I'm going to have to look into, but I thought that it was probably too much for this live stream, so I did not bring it up to talk about it, and I don't know if I would be able to convey it in a good way that really makes sense. So that's something that you can look at going into it. So you can look at the scare zones, see what the themes are, and kind of tie any of the backstories to it, which I think is kind of cool. But Universal does a really good job at all of their theming, all of their storytelling. Their characters are so good and very, very detailed. So I think that's very neat. Another thing that I didn't share earlier is they do have this show called Nightmare Fuel Revenge Dream. This show happens a couple of times throughout the evening. It looks like a very neat and kind of interactive show. So that's back towards the Men in Black Alien Attack ride. So if you wanted to see that, of course, make sure that you're looking at the app or at the times for the show so that way you can see it. They do have some rides open too during the party, which is nice. So usually when people go to Halloween Horror Nights, I'm sure they're going for, of course, all the Halloween stuff, but wait times are usually very, very low during these events, which is nice. So in between houses, if you wanted to catch a quick ride, of course you can do that. So I recommend checking that out. Whenever we went 2 years ago, we went back towards Diagon Alley and there was no one there. There was nobody in line for the Gringotts Bank ride. So we were on and off so quickly. It was so fun. But yeah, I think those are all of my Halloween Horror Nights tips. Definitely recommend going on the Halloween Horror Nights website and checking out the ticket options if you're looking to go. They have different descriptions and pictures and everything for all of the houses and all of the scare zones that you can check out. So I think it's going to be a very unique and interesting event this year. You'll have to let me know if you guys are planning on going or if you've ever been before. I know we're thinking of going in September, so I think it'll be very neat to see the event kick off. It's going to be starting super soon here on September 1st. So I think that'll be a very neat addition to Halloween Horror Nights, or to Universal Studios, and a new kind of way to enter into this Halloween season here. So thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. I know it was much anticipated by our Halloween lovers in the parks. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you're here on the replay, feel free to hit the reminder button and the notification bell to come back next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be doing another live stream. We're here every week at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, so I'm excited to share some more kind of seasonal events that are happening in the parks and some more updates as far as theme park goes. But Kitty Kathy, let's see what you're saying. It'll be your second time and you're going early September, so the crowd will be low, but it'll be very hot. Yeah, that's another thing. Make sure that you are dressing comfortably for these events, especially if you're going like early fall. It can be super humid, still hot, even though it's the evening. So make sure you are dressing comfortably and kind of looking at the weather ahead of time. Also, if it rains, make sure you're planning ahead of time for that. So I'm glad you brought that up too, Kitty Kathy. The weather is always a huge thing down in Florida. So make sure you're dressing accordingly for that. But thank you. I'm glad that you enjoyed tonight. I know Halloween Horror Nights is not my huge expertise, but it is something that I think is super neat and a very fun event, of course, when going to Universal Orlando. So thank you guys again so much for tuning in. Let me know if you have any questions or any thoughts about Halloween Horror Nights, when you're going, if you're going. I want to hear all about it. But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening, and we will see you guys in the next live stream or video. Thanks, guys. We'll see you later.